The Morgan Report with David Morgan.
David Morgan of themorganreport.com for the weekly perspective for the week ending 5 August 2022. Well, I'm a bit late this week. I've been traveling, but I'm going to cover the week. So if we look at gold, we can see from this quick chart from Kitco that from the 1st to the 5th, we are making higher lows, and gold is looking strong and has been basically from the 21st of July. If you look at silver this week, you see pretty much it's basically been flat. We also see silver started its rise after gold, probably around, you could say, the 26th of July, but certainly a nice move from the 1850 level to around $20. Moving over to the Twitter account at SilverGuru22 is our Twitter handle. And I just posted this one, which is from Adam Hamilton, who I've known for years, does great work. This is his link right here, and it talks about gold stocks being deeply undervalued. I also posted the Great Credit Contraction from Trace Mayer, and in this you can see that we are in an upside-down pyramid, as I've talked about many times. This comes from John Exter. And what you can see is as you get toward more and more liquid assets, it moves toward the power currency illusion. And that is physical notes, euros, dollars, Australian dollars, Canadian dollars, etc. Physical paper notes. So seeing the dollar strong is not surprising. And I think that's what to expect if you believe this whole theory, which I do, and it's pretty self-evident if you look at monetary history. And once this starts to come into question, that's when people shift out of euros into gold, or out of the yen into gold, or out of whatever. So it could take place in other currencies. And if you look at other currencies' gold charts, they look a lot different than looking in just US dollars. Many of these gold charts in other currencies look very, very strong. But since the US dollar is how almost everyone refers to the gold price or oil price or what have you, there's this idea that gold isn't doing that well. In dollar terms, I'll admit, not as well as it could, but check out the currencies, you'll see it's doing its job, which means these other areas are moving into gold sooner than a lot of, let's say, people that are US currency based. Finally, get down to power money, gold and silver. Trey shows the silver tip, just like John Exter. I'd put a silver tip, real shiny one right here at the very, very tip. It's such a small market, but both will eventually make up for all of this stuff that needs to be revalued, and it'll be revalued in many different ways. First article to look at for the weekend is from Yahoo Finance. Switzerland bans imports of Russian gold and gold products. The Swiss government has banned imports of Russian gold and gold products. The measure, which came into effect August 3rd as part of a new sanctions on Russia in response to its invasion of Ukraine, covers the purchase, import, and transport of gold and gold products, as well as services connected to them. So you can have a look at this article. It's very long, and it's worth the read. Moving on to silver, this is from PV Magazine. Global solar capacity to grow 30% this year, said analyst, Bloomberg senior clean energy analyst. Rob Barrett forecasts a 30% increase in global photovoltaic development this year and double-digit growth through 2025. Demand is pushing solar growth across the globe to new heights as Bloomberg's intelligence senior analyst Rob Barrett forecasts deployment to increase by 30% this year. Total development is closing in on 1 trillion watts installed, an impressive milestone. I would suggest you read the rest of the article. And here's one for a lot of silver investors, speculators, silver bugs, silver stackers. This is from commoditytrademantra.com. Silver market manipulated could now move forcibly to the upside. Pain in the silver market could find some relief. While the monetary and industrial metal is down substantially from a year ago, off 27%, King World News points to the latest silver hedgers position reports as showing the setup in the silver market has turned extremely bullish. We, myself, many others in the silver community have been saying that for quite some time. Just a caution, I think I gave this out a week or two ago, that the COT is very good as far as determining that we've reached an area of where you want to be accumulating. but it's not that great for timing. It can be in a very, very bullish COT position, and the market doesn't react for some time later. So just a bit of caution there, but nonetheless, the facts are as stated. And this shows it in a chart form. There's many charts out there. I went through 5-year silver, as bad as silver has been for us. Again, looking back here, you can see, in July of 2017 to, July of 20, we were basically under $20 an ounce. Now we're back there, but we've been up almost to 30. And we're starting to move back up. I think 1850 was the low. Time will tell. Here's one that does not get enough attention, in my opinion, my perspective, and that is from Niels Christensen on Kitco. Falling mine production is key to gold and silver's long-term bull market. The gold market is testing resistance 1,800 an ounce, and he goes on to say, I won't read it to you. Basically, if you read this article, you'll find out that gold, I'm pretty convinced, has hit peak gold. Silver, I'm not as convinced. But if we've hit peak commodities, not counting the energy sector, oil, natural gas, coal, and we just look at the need for the base metals, the need for the base metals is not nearly as big as it was, let's say, when China's boom started in the early 2000s. Now, I know the copper people, when we're bullish, somewhat bullish copper, will get upset with all the EVs. But those are projections. Those are like the world's getting better and better, and the auto companies have got everything they need, and there's no chip shortage, and all the things that are reality may cut into the projections and the realities. And that's the stance I'm taking at this time. So I'm being conservative and a bit concerned that just because we want this to take place, or the projection says such and such, or is a mandate by different governments and all of that, the reality is there is supply chain breakdowns, and there are sanctions going across the borders, one against the other, and there's a lot there to consider. So I'm more bullish on the precious metals than I am on the base metals. And in touching on crypto a little bit, BlackRock made a big announcement moving into Bitcoin. It's kind of all over the news. Anyone who follows crypto in a cursory way will know that. I'm going to focus on this new product from the Lode community. Again, I am an ambassador for Lode. I have an investment in it, and therefore I cannot be totally objective. If you go to lode.one/bullpen, you will see the world's first silver and gold ETF with a vault management system. I won't read this whole thing to you, but this is something that is going to be launched, and I believe that Stansberry may do an interview about this, but I don't want to scroll too fast. But it is a way to purchase and have an NFT that goes with your purchase and be able to vault it. And of course, it's liquid. You can exchange it for fiat if you wanted, or real metal, which of course I would prefer. That's going to wrap it up for this week's Weekly Perspective. This is David Morgan of themorganreport.com.